In the shadowed corners of an ancient mansion, where whispers echo like forgotten sins, Barbara Vale uncovers a terror that blurs the line between the living and the damned. This spine-chilling tale of unrelenting hauntings will grip your soul and leave you questioning every creak in the night. Subscribe now to unlock exclusive horror stories that will haunt your dreams. Don't miss out, hit that subscribe button today. The Haunting of Barbara Vale. Barbara Vale had always been a woman of practicality, her life a meticulously organized tapestry of schedules, deadlines, and quiet evenings with a glass of Merlot. At 42, she was a successful real estate agent in the bustling city of Eldridge, where skyscrapers pierced the sky like accusatory fingers. But when her marriage crumbled under the weight of unspoken resentments, she sought refuge in the countryside, purchasing an old Victorian mansion on the outskirts of Willow Creek. The house, known locally as Vale Manor, ironically sharing her surname, had stood empty for decades, its once grand facade now weathered by time and neglect. The realtor had warned her of its history, murmuring tales of tragedy and abandonment, but Barbara dismissed them as folklore designed to drive down the price. She saw potential in its creaking floors and dusty chandeliers, a project to rebuild her shattered life. On the day she moved in, the autumn leaves swirled like restless spirits around the moving truck. The air was crisp, carrying the faint scent of decaying wood and earth. Barbara directed the movers with her usual efficiency, placing boxes in the cavernous living room where a massive fireplace dominated one wall. As evening fell, she unpacked alone, the house enveloping her in silence broken only by the occasional groan of settling beams. That night, as she lay in the master bedroom, the canopy bed enveloping her like a coffin, she heard it for the first time, a soft, melodic humming drifting from the hallway. It was faint, almost soothing, like a lullaby from a distant memory. She attributed it to the wind whistling through cracks in the windows and drifted off to sleep. The next morning, Barbara explored the house more thoroughly. The attic was a treasure trove of forgotten artifacts, yellowed photographs, antique furniture shrouded in sheets, and a locked trunk that piqued her curiosity. She jimmied it open with a screwdriver, revealing stacks of letters tied with faded ribbons. The handwriting was elegant, belonging to a woman named Eliza Vale, who had lived in the house over a century ago. Eliza's words painted a picture of a tormented soul, trapped in a loveless marriage to a cruel husband named Reginald. "The shadows watch me," one letter read. "They whisper secrets I dare not repeat." Barbara shivered, but rationalized it as the ramblings of a depressed Victorian-era wife. She set the letters aside and focused on renovating the kitchen, installing modern appliances that clashed with the home's Gothic charm. Days turned into weeks, and the humming persisted, growing louder and more insistent. It seemed to emanate from the walls themselves, vibrating through the plaster like a heartbeat. Barbara began to notice other anomalies. Doors that swung open on their own, mirrors that fogged up without reason, revealing faint handprints that vanished upon closer inspection. One evening, while cooking dinner, she felt a chill brush against her neck, as if icy fingers traced her spine. Turning sharply, she saw nothing but the empty room. Her heart raced, but she laughed it off, blaming her imagination fueled by isolation. To combat the loneliness, Barbara invited her best friend, Sarah, for a weekend visit. Sarah was a skeptic through and through, a psychology professor who debunked ghost stories. With clinical precision, they spent the first night chatting by the fire, sipping wine and reminiscing about old times. As midnight approached, the humming started again, this time accompanied by faint footsteps pacing above them in the attic. Sarah's eyes widened. "What is that?" she asked, her voice laced with unease. Barbara shrugged, feigning nonchalance. "Probably just the house settling. Old places like this have character." But deep down, doubt gnawed at her. The following day, they decided to investigate the attic together. Dust motes danced in the beam of their flashlights as they sifted through more relics. Sarah found a diary hidden beneath a loose floorboard, its pages brittle with age. It belonged to Eliza, detailing her descent into madness. "Reginald's rage knows no bounds," she wrote. "He locks me away, but the spirits comfort me. They promise vengeance." The entries grew increasingly erratic, culminating in a final note: "Tonight, I end it all. The veil between worlds thins, and I shall cross it." Sarah closed the diary with a snap. "This is fascinating from a psychological standpoint. Sounds like severe depression, perhaps schizophrenia. No ghosts here, just human tragedy. That night, as they retired to their rooms, the disturbances escalated. Barbara awoke to the sound of shattering glass downstairs. Rushing to the living room, she found the fireplace mirror in pieces, shards glinting under the moonlight. In the largest fragment, she glimpsed a reflection not her own, a woman in a white gown, her face pale and eyes hollow. The apparition vanished as quickly as it appeared, leaving Barbara trembling. She called out for Sarah, who came running, dismissing it as a nightmare induced by the diary's contents. But Sarah's reassurance rang hollow, especially when they both heard a woman's voice whispering, "Help me." Determined to uncover the truth, Barbara delved into local history at the Willow Creek Library the next week. The librarian, an elderly woman named Mrs. Hargrove, eyed her suspiciously. "Vale Manor, E.H. That place is cursed. Eliza Vale poisoned her husband in 1892, then hanged herself in the attic. Folks say her spirit lingers, seeking justice or revenge." Mrs. Hargrove pulled out newspaper clippings yellowed with time, confirming the tale. Reginald Vale had been a tyrannical mill owner, accused of abusing his workers and his wife. Eliza's death was ruled a suicide, but rumors persisted of foul play. Barbara left the library with a stack of documents, her mind reeling. Was she descending into the same madness that claimed Eliza? Back at the manor, the hauntings intensified. Objects moved of their own accord, a chair sliding across the room, books tumbling from shelves. The humming evolved into discernible words, a plea repeated endlessly, "Set me free." Barbara began experiencing visions, flashes of Eliza's life superimposed on her own. In one, she saw Reginald's furious face as he struck Eliza, his ring leaving a scar on her cheek. In another, Eliza huddled in the attic, mixing a vial of poison with trembling hands. These glimpses left Barbara disoriented, blurring the lines between past and present. She confided in her ex-husband, Mark, during a tense phone call. "You're imagining things, Barb," he said dismissively. "That house is too big for one person. Come back to the city." His words stung, reminding her of why their marriage failed, his inability to empathize. Fueled by defiance, Barbara decided to confront the spirit head-on. She researched paranormal rituals online, gathering sage, candles, and a Ouija board from a nearby occult shop. That night, under a full moon, she set up in the attic, lighting the candles in a circle. As she placed her fingers on the planchette, the air grew thick, charged with electricity. "Eliza Vale," she intoned. "Are you here?" The planchette jerked to yes. Her breath caught. "What do you want?" It spelled out, "Justice." Questions tumbled out. "Who killed you?" "Reginald." But Reginald was long dead. "How can I help?" The board went still, then spelled, "Find the truth." A gust of wind extinguished the candles, plunging the room into darkness. Barbara fled, her heart pounding. The next day, she tore apart the attic, searching for clues. Beneath the floorboards where the diary was found, she discovered a hidden compartment containing a locket and a confession letter from Reginald's valet, admitting that Reginald had murdered Eliza and staged her suicide to cover his abuse. The locket held a portrait of Eliza, her eyes strikingly similar to Barbara's. Shocked, Barbara realized the connection. Through genealogy research, she traced her lineage back to Eliza's sister, making her a distant descendant. The haunting wasn't random, it was familial. Emboldened, Barbara contacted a local historian and a paranormal investigator named Elias Thorne. Thorne, a grizzled man with a penchant for the supernatural, arrived with equipment, EMF meters, spirit boxes, and infrared cameras. They conducted a séance in the living room, the fireplace crackling ominously. As Thorne called out to Eliza, the temperature plummeted. The spirit box crackled with voices. "He killed me." Objects levitated, and a shadowy figure materialized by the mirror. Barbara felt a surge of energy, as if Eliza's essence merged with her own. In a trance, Barbara spoke in Eliza's voice, recounting the night of the murder. Reginald, enraged by Eliza's affair with the valet, had strangled her and hung her body to simulate suicide. The poison was meant for him, but he discovered it first. The revelation lifted a weight from the house. The humming ceased, replaced by a profound silence. Thorne captured evidence on his devices, vowing to publish the findings to clear Eliza's name. But the peace was short-lived. That night, Barbara dreamed of Reginald's ghost, his malevolent presence seeking to silence the truth. She awoke to find the confession letter burning in the fireplace, flames licking hungrily. Panic set in as doors slammed shut, trapping her in the room. Reginald's spirit manifested, a hulking shadow with glowing eyes. "You meddle in affairs not your own," it growled. Barbara grabbed the locket, holding it aloft. "Eliza, help me." A brilliant light erupted, Eliza's form appearing to confront her husband. The two spirits clashed in a whirlwind of energy, the house shaking as if in an earthquake. When the chaos subsided, both apparitions vanished. The manor felt lighter, cleansed. Barbara, exhausted but triumphant, decided to stay, transforming the house into a historical site dedicated to Eliza's memory. She wrote a book about the experience, sharing the story with the world. Years later, on quiet nights, she sometimes heard a gentle hum, not of torment, but of gratitude. Yet, whispers persisted in Willow Creek. Some said the veils between worlds remained thin, and Barbara's victory was temporary. Visitors to Vale Manor reported fleeting shadows, wondering if the haunting truly ended or merely evolved. Barbara herself occasionally glanced at mirrors, half expecting to see Eliza's face staring back. The past, after all, never fully dies. It lingers, waiting for the right soul to unveil its secrets. If this tale of spectral vengeance left you breathless and craving more unearthly thrills, don't stop here. Subscribe immediately to dive deeper into worlds of horror, mystery, and the unknown. Your next nightmare awaits. Click subscribe now and join the legion of readers who never sleep the same again.